Factoring lesson part 2. Now we're going to move on from GCF and go to trinomials. Now, usually what this means, instead of taking out one term, we're taking out multiple terms. So there's different ways you can do this. So if you go online, you'll find different ways to do it. I'm going to teach you this way. This is called factoring with the area model, or I call it Xbox. What you do is you make an X and an area model, and you're going to factor out the terms using the area model, but there's a problem. The area model has 4 boxes, you only have 3 numbers. The problem is this one, bx. This term can't just go in here or else you're going to miss a space. So what you have to do is you have to split it up. We have to split up bx, but not like in half or in the middle. You have to figure it out by using the x. Now what the x does is you take the first term and the last term, you multiply them together, and that'll help you figure out how you're going to split up b of x, okay? Because however you split it up, it has to multiply to make the top part, all right? So this is the layout. Make sure you copy this. This is how you're going to follow it. Let's do an example now, all right? So x squared plus 15x plus 36. So here's how I'd set it up. Take the first term and the last term, which is x squared times 36, and you'll get 36x squared. Okay, the 15x, the bx goes down here. So, however you're going to split this up, it has to multiply to make this. All right, and then once you do that in your area model, you know x squared goes here, you know 36 goes here, but however you split it up, that's going to go in the other 2 squares. So you need 2 numbers that multiply to make 36, but are adding up to make 15. So numbers that add up to 36 and add up to 15, this is usually trial and error. So you can come up with like 18 times 2. What is it? 4 times 9. 12 times 6. And no, 12 times 3. I'm sorry, 12 times 3. That's it, 12 times 3. 12 times 3 would add up to 15 and multiply to make that. So 12x and 3x are the numbers that split up 15x. Put them in here. Now we factor. This is actually factoring now. What numbers make x squared and 36x? So think of it as GCF. What makes these two? Oh, x. X is what they have in common. So how would you make this? Oh, x squared. And how would you make this? 3 times x, right? And what should happen is this. Well, if you multiply the bottom, you need it to be 12x. So, sorry, I messed up. I apologize. Not x squared, just x. How do you make 12x? Well, 12 times x. Okay, what about 36? 12 times 3. There you go. These numbers are how you factor it. So this term right here, once you've factored it, you end up with these 2 parentheses. And the 2 parentheses are x plus 3 and x plus 12. So these are the factors of this. So it's kind of like factoring, but using another method to do it, okay? This is what multiplies to make that. Now, another one. Area model. Multiply the top 2. 2x squared times 5, 10x squared. Take 11x, put that on the bottom. Make our area model. Okay, we know 2x squared goes here. We know 5 goes here. We're trying to split up 11. We're trying to figure out how to split up 11. So you need 2 numbers that multiply to make 10x squared, but add up to 11. Well, there's only 2 ways to do 10. 2 times 5 and 10 times 1. If you add them up, that makes 7. If you add these up, there you go. If you add these up, that makes 11. These numbers go in here. And actually, I'm just going to put x. You don't need to put the 1 in here. And now we go through factoring again. So what numbers multiply to make this? What is the factors of these? 2x. How would you make this? 2x times x. How would you make 10x with 2x? 2x times 5. That's how you make that. Okay. How would you make x times what number to make x? This is weird. If this is just the same, what do I multiply it by to make it the same? Oh, times 1. X times 1 is x. How do you make 5 with 5? 5 times 1 is 5. There you go. Your factored form, the factored form of this is x plus 5 to x plus 1. And that's factoring using Xbox or the area model. Okay, we're going to do a couple more just for practice and so you guys can see how it works. Okay. All right, with some negative signs. Let's introduce some negative signs in here. So 2x times negative 5, that's going to be negative 10x squared, negative 9x. 2x squared goes here, negative 5. So yeah, if you see a minus sign, treat it as a negative number. Okay. So again, two numbers that make 9x squared but add up to negative 9x. Now, again, you get 2 times 5 and 10 times 1. Now here's the catch. It's a negative. One of these numbers has to be negative. So if one of the numbers is negative, you're going to be subtracting them. 2 minus 5, 10 minus 1. Well, that's not going to make 9, but this one will. Now the question becomes, which one do you make negative? Do you do 10 minus 1? What's 10 minus 1? 9. Oh, wait, that's a negative 9. So maybe we should do negative 10 plus 1, or 1 minus 10x. That's how we should do it. So be careful with negatives. It could mix it up for you. But again, you take those two numbers, you put them in. Okay, now factors. What numbers make this? 2x squared and x. Well, just x. I can't put a 2 because there's no 2 over here. That means up here is 2x. Right? How do you make x over here? Oh wait, it's the same with a 1. Okay, how do you make negative 10x? Well, I would put 5, but it needs to be a negative 10, so I should put negative 5. Then 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. There we go. This works. My factored form, my two factors, 2x plus 1 and x minus 5. And again, it really doesn't matter which one you put first or second, as long as you put them both together like that. Okay? Next. I kind of made a mistake here, so that's supposed to be a 20 in case you're confused. The reason I messed up here is because when I copied it, I want to add a GCF. So yes, this is a combination. Before you do Xbox, guys, we have to take out the GCF. 2. If you take out 2, you're left with x squared plus 7x plus 10. I divided everything by 2. So your problem now looks like this. When you do that, this goes in Xbox, not this anymore. This is no longer the problem. X squared plus 7x plus 10 is. So we go 10x squared, 7x, area model, x squared, 10. Two numbers that make 10. Oh, wait. Wow. I should have chosen some different numbers, guys. I'm sorry. But now it's 2 times 5. I know we keep doing 10. I apologize. I didn't realize I picked the same number so many times. All right, now we factor x times x, x times 2, x times 5, 2 times 5. Yep, that works. So now this is important. When you write your factored form, okay, the 2 still goes in the front. Then your parentheses can follow it. So this is the answer. So you still have to include the GCF when you factor. All right. Last one. Now this also has a GCF, but this time it's a 3. So we're going to divide everything by 3. Yep, no x and y. The x's and y's stay. Now, the reason this is important, if you do Xbox with this, right? This times that is 2y squared x squared. The first and the last term. Add up to negative 3xy. Okay? And in your area model, you put x squared and 2y squared. Okay. Numbers that multiply to make 2xy but add up to 3. Now ignore the xy for a second. Just think like this. Numbers that multiply to make 2, but add up to 3. Multiply to make 2. It's only 2 times 1. But wait, they add up to make a -3? That means they both have to be negative. When you add them up, that makes -3. Wait, what about the variables? Well, if you're going to add them up, they need to have the same terms. They need to be like terms. So these numbers go in here. Okay? I know. All right, factor it, same way. What makes x squared? X and x. What makes this? -2y. The only new thing here is the y, not the x. The x came from over there. What about here? Well, there's already an x here. That means this is a -1y. And then if you multiply -2y times -1y, you get +2y squared. So my answer, the 3 is the GCF, x minus 2y, and x minus 1y. And that's the answer.